oh my God, Neffy's been looking for you. She's gonna be so happy. Your mama's been looking for you at this point. Like, what? Where are you? I'm gonna come get you. I'm like, hold on. Me and my mama got into it already because of this. We ain't gonna be doing this, baby. So I
Right.
was overwhelmed because I'm young. I'm just trying to figure out high school. I found a new best friend. I really didn't know what to do, but I knew I didn't want to tell my mama because my mama had already told me you don't have no connection to them people. So yeah, it was real bad.
Well, I can honestly say this, like, listening to your story and hearing everything that you went through with that, like, one would say, oh, he was just a badass kid to find his mom and all this other stuff. But I think that took great strength to go out of your way to go and make that connection on your own to find your family. It may have been not the best choice at the time.
Not the best.
Not the best choice at the time, but I ain't gonna sit up here and give you no fever about it. I mean, you wanted to know. You know what I mean? Like, you wanted to know. Like, I know people personally that was adopted and they didn't find out until we were like almost out of high school. And
Wow.
and I know how they felt when they found out that they were adopted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it ain't my story to tell, but I remember how they felt when they found out that they were adopted. Like
Yeah.
they all that time they didn't know until they were 18.
Yeah.
So, that people also got to take into account, the mental of it all, because you growing up with this family and you thinking that that's your biological family, and then only for you to find out that ain't been my family all this time. It's your family, but at the same time, it's like, so who is it?
Who am I?
Yeah, so now you got questions in your own head, because now, once again, based off your story, you was like, I don't act like them. I'm different from them. Why am I so rambunctious? Why I act like this? Why do I do this? Why do I do that? And then when you find out that they're not blood related to you, now you're wondering, okay, so this is the reason why I'm not like them. So who am I like?
Yes.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, what's going on with that? So you spoke to Elite first.
Yes.
Keisha was the next sibling you spoke to, right? Or was it somebody else?
So Keisha was the next sibling that I spoke to, but in between that time, Neffy called my house because she said Ellis is in Fairfield, California. Now, my mother had a daycare, so it was very easy to track her number down, especially because it was in the yellow pages. When we moved from Oakland to Fairfield, my mama put the number in the yellow pages. Okay, so when you looked it up online, it would say exactly what was in the actual physical book. And so it was easy for Neffy to find my mother and my location. So when Neffy picked up the phone and called my mama, she got a handful of cuss words.
Oh.
And my mother, she told me, why do you have these people calling my house? Like, I was like, what you mean? So yes, the next person I talked to was Keisha, but my mom was already on 10,000 because she had known that Neffy had actually found me. And she thought it was me. And I was like, oh, no, girl, that wasn't me, girl. I ain't even talked to her yet.
Right. So when you went to okay, so you hadn't necessarily met Elite and Keisha yet. You just spoke to,
I spoke to Elite and my mom spoke to Neffy.
To Neffy. So after that, who was next? Was it your Aunt BB or?
It was Auntie BB.
So how did you get in contact with Auntie BB? Let's talk about that for those that haven't paid attention to the story.
Now this is where Dorian pops into the story. And this is how me and Dorian, yes.
The one you just got through going in, the one you just got through reading. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, so because Dorian is, or at the time was, Elite's best friend. Now, I don't know who Dorian's connected to. Like, I don't know what side of the family. They say he's a cousin, girl, estranged. I don't know nothing about this man. So me, at 15 years old, Elite tells Dorian to get in contact with Vania. Dorian gets in contact with Vania and he says that, hey, he has an aunt in Stockton that wants to see him. I'm going to come pick him up. Now, Vania wasn't having that. Vania's like, oh, I don't know you like that. You know what we finna do? I'm finna hook y'all up with Auntie BB. She said, no, what's Auntie BB's number? And I'm gonna hook them up. And then they gonna go from there. So I got into contact with BB through my Aunt BB through Dorian. And so I got the number and I was able to call her. And then my Uncle Mike came down to Fairfield to come get me. And then that's how I ended up at Auntie BB's house.
So tell me about Auntie BB.
Oh my gosh, she was a pastor. So I met Auntie BB in her good years. And that's why a lot of times when people hear me speak of Auntie BB, they don't understand that because a lot of times they met her in the last years of her life. So Auntie
Mm-hmm.
BB was the pastor. I'm talking about we was going uh what is that? We was going to church Tuesdays, Wednesdays, then Bible studies on Thursdays, and then we went to Bible studies on Friday, but that was with another church that was connected, and then you have Sunday service. So
Yeah.
I was in the church with her. I'm talking about I learned the Bible. She had a shake and go. That's where Elite got the shake and go wigs from. The whole closet. I'm talking about she had a different color, a different cut, a 47 piece. She smelled good all the time. She had her outfits whipped and dipped every single day going to church. And on top of that, she ran two different women's and men's homes. So these were recovery homes. At the time, I didn't know that. So my aunt was very much in the community of people that she knew that she was not only just a part of, but that she lived. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me at 15 years old, I'm thinking my Auntie BB is the closest thing to God. I'm like, oh my God, are you God? Are you Jesus' best friend? Like, what's going on here? You know, a
She can
very
give a
much
mean
safe
prayer.
space.
She can
Oh,
give a mean prayer because I was looking at Frankie and Neffy show and the other day, and I'm like, I didn't remember this. She was taking them to church up in that damn I don't know where they was at, but they was eating food somewhere, and she took their ass to church, and I was here for it.
saved and sanctified, baby. That was her number one.
Yeah, and just listen to your story. It just seemed like she played like a big part, a positive part in you being connected with your biological family. So just like I say, Vanilla is the MVP, Auntie BB is too, from what I
Yes.
can see.
And a lot of people don't realize that my family is very dysfunctional, and that was the only functioning part for me. And throughout the whole time that I've known my biological family, Auntie BB had a set schedule. She reminded me of my mother, and
Mm-hmm.
in a sense of everything was taken care of. I didn't have to worry about anything that I needed or wanted. Auntie people was like, I'm gonna get for you and I'm gonna make sure you have it. And it just appeared. And that's what I was used to because that's what my mother would do. And it takes a lot because if you know how this family is dysfunctional, to even keep up with a house that Keisha gave her, be able to pay the rent, to be able to pay the rent, keep the lights on. It was a big house. It was a 5 bedroom house in Stockton. It's $1 million
Right.
home.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be able to keep up with that for almost over a decade, over a decade, I appreciated her. I loved her for it, and she always made sure that I was okay.
So your first time meeting Yaya.
Ugh. Oh,
Let's talk about that. Cause although she wasn't really giving that on them shows, I definitely could tell that she was about that life.
oh, baby, when I say she's a hood nigga, don't you play with that lady. I'll talk about she cussed me. She cussed me out. And I was
Mm-hmm.
not expecting that. I thought my mother Frankie was. Oh, baby, Yaya is a different breed. I'm talking about she got vodka in the water bottles. She dumped the water out. Yes, had the case of 64 in the damn fridge full of. And it just reminded me of the shit that you see on TV. You watch them black sitcoms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you would see the grandmother is really about that life. Like nigga, your grandmother is really that. Yes, she got all the gold on her necklace, and again, this is where Elite get the shake and go. Yaya had the meanest shake and go. Oh my god! I'm like, I could now if they would just give it to her, we'd be good. But unfortunately, they
Right.
passed that down. She had when I say everything was at her house was put together so immaculately. It was Mother Africa. She had the rugs, she had the lions, the animals. Everything was top notch. It smelled good. She had the incense, the candles. She had the freshest MacBook in the corner. She be on Facebook. She be on MySpace typing. She's like, yeah, let me show you my computer. You know what I'm saying? She had a fat flat screen in her room. Had a fat flat screen outside. I'm talking about bathroom put together so much you don't even want to use it. Like, damn. And she kept it real. She always, and before I left Yaya's house that night, she was like, "Listen here, I'm your grandmother. You gonna call me Yaya?" She said, "And every time you come over, I'm gonna give you something." I'm like, "I don't need nothing." She tried to slide a 40 in my hand. She said, "You gonna take this 40 ball?" And I'm like, "I ain't taking that." She said, "No, you gonna take this 40 ball and you got to get the fuck up out my house." I said, "Okay." You ain't gonna tell me twice. And so I loved her for not only being raw and honest, but she was herself. And it reminded me of me because I couldn't be nothing else than myself. You know what I'm saying?
Period. Okay, well, let's get into Keisha Cole when you
Oh
first met
Lord.
her. When you first met her.
Miss
Let's get
Maisha.
Keisha Maisha.
That lady, you know what? One thing I will say, because I do want to give her this, Keisha is exactly who you think she is. If there's
Mm-hmm.
ever any doubt in your head that she is not who she thinks she and who they say she is exactly that person in person. And I think because I was so young and I didn't know who my sister was, I'm not reading TV, the YouTube or Facebook or at the time MySpace and Twitter. I don't know who she is. So
Mm-hmm.
when you hear about her and you hear about these things, they are all true. Because encountering her, I was like, I was thinking she was just gonna be like, brother. She looked me up and down like I was a bitch off the street, and she was sizing me up. Girl, what? She. Oh yeah, that's how you come in. Mind you, I look funky as shit. I had these ugly ass work pants on. I had my work shirt on. Bitch had a goddamn orange, goddamn striped, goddamn long sleeve on with a brown jacket on top of that and a goddamn Charizard beanie I got from Zoomies. I looked whooped. So absolutely, she looking at me like, "Who is this bum you pulled off the street, saying that this is my brother?" Right? So
Right.
when she said, "This is how you come," and mind you, this is in the back of her show that we then got into accidentally for free because the security guard got tired of us and my auntie begging for tickets. He let us come in the show. So she don't know she finna meet a brother. We don't even know what's going on. I didn't even know who was going to the show until my auntie BB said so. So when we in the line waiting for everybody that done paid for their meet and greet, I get there and she looking at me up and down. She like, "Oh, this how you come in?" And they laugh. All of her little entourage laugh. Whoever the fuck she with, they laughing. And at this point, I'm like, "Oh, y'all think this is funny? I didn't come all this way and be aggravated for nothing. Let me squeeze on in here." I was like, "Let me squeeze on in here and get a hug, sister. Hey, girl. We gonna get a picture? Come on, photographer, come get us a picture." And I'm sitting there like this. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, you definitely my brother." She said, "You definitely family." She's like, "Cause ain't nobody else would do no shit like that while we done laughed at you." Cause I didn't give a fuck. I got to meet my sister and I was happy about it. And it was somebody I loved to death. These motherfucker call. You think I'm finna get my picture? Yeah, I'm getting me a click click.
Yeah, I think it was more so from what I hear, it didn't even matter that she was like Keisha
Mm-mm.
Cole. It was more so about I just found my sister. It don't really matter. You know what I
It
mean?
don't.
Because
It did not matter at
it didn't
all.
matter. So okay.
Feel free to ask anything. Let's get into it.
So because like I don't like I just because I know what everybody here for and I kind of went through everything, most of the stuff that I want to ask because I don't want to go, back down the turnpipe about, the very beginning and all that. I
Yeah.
think I kind of went into all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
of course everybody wants the mess too. So of
You
course
know,
it
you
wouldn't
know
be
I'm
me if
here.
I didn't get into the mess of it
Get to
all.
the best, sister. Come
Now,
on.
before we get into the mess, I
Yes.
have always, because mind you, I follow all of your siblings on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. I follow all of them. Now, let's talk about Tifa. I don't know why I've always been interested in knowing more of who she is. Because we've seen Sam, we've seen Malik, we know Neffy, everybody know Neffy. But out of the three of you guys that we didn't see on TV, besides you, because you made your presence known when you letting Elite have it a couple of years ago, so you let your presence be known.
Absolutely.
But it was something about Tifa that I wanted to know. She looks like Keisha, and from what you said, she sings, she twerks, she cries, she do all that shit. What, first of all, what is your relationship with Tifa at this particular moment? If you have a relationship with Tifa.
Yes. So me and Tifa will always be close. And
Mhm.
it will always, Tifa is like one of those sisters or those friends that you don't see for years. And then when you guys
Mhm.
reconnect, it's like y'all never missed a beat ever.
Mhm.
I love Tifa. Now, the reason you don't see Tifa is because Tifa is Frankie reincarnated.
Okay. I got you.
So
Oh.
everything that Frankie done been through, when I say everything, down to not being able to have have her kids,
Mm.
down to the problems with drugs, down to being in the streets consistently. My sister battles with that day in and day out, and she done battled with that ever since I met her in high school and didn't know she was my sister.
Mhm.
And so I think the reason why you don't see Tifa is because Keisha always knew that she's seen her mother and her sister. And she said, I don't want to repeat the cycle. And there's something that Keisha says very, very, very eloquently in a way that I've never heard her say before. Because if you know something about Keisha, she's not good with her words. She ain't going to speak, but you're going to see the mess in the streets.
Right.
She said that she knew that there was a problem with putting her family on TV. And she said, why would I keep recreating the cycle that I created? And she's seen that with Tifa. Why would I put my sister on TV knowing that she has a problem? Now, today, I don't know if you caught wind of what I had to spill it a little bit because there's a reason why you don't see anyone else talk about Tifa. And it's because of how Frankie she is. Very Frankie coded. Because you know, Frankie tried to sing too at one point, baby. She had a rap career. It's a whole thing. The problem with this family is that when they see a problem, they run from it, and I, including me, and I got tired of
Mhm.
running. And so when it comes to Tifa, she's not easy. She's not easy. You got to have a specific mindset to be able to deal with her. Because one day you're gonna get happy, the next moment you're gonna get sad, the next moment she ready to fight you, and now she's singing Beyonce in the corner talking about she finna have a singing career. She gonna get in the paint and make an album, and then the next day she back on the streets doing God knows what and trying to figure out how she can deal with her children. So it's very complicated with Tifa, but I love her to death. And I know that right now, and even in the moments that we did have when our mother passed away, Tifa was needed by everybody. And without Tifa, a lot of people probably mentally wouldn't have been able to make it because she was the joy. Tifa brought the joy. She brought Frankie. When she came to Sam's house when I was there, I'm talking about she busted the door like little Frankie. That's what everybody call her.
Mhm.
Without Tifa, I don't think Elite, Neffy, Keisha, Robert, Sam, or me would have been able to make it through. Um, so yes, to hear that they publicly went online and they called her a crackhead,
What?
Mhm.
that's a no go, bro. You can't. They can't do. That's so sad. And now I see why you say you don't see a lot of her online and things like that. Now I know why. Because now she's a part of this family. She understands what it's like to be online and be attacked, and you try to get your life together and you working things out. Why be online?
Oh.
So that's why Tifa's. I believe that she's not around. Her character's been assassinated, baby.
I think this is your cousin,
Oh,
Leslie.
that's Leslie, baby. Yes,
Yeah, she said
that's
love you,
Auntie BB's
cousin.
daughter.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that was okay. So we talked about
That's Tifa.
Tifa.
That's
What
Tifa.
about Robert? Do you have a relationship with Robert at
It's
all?
on and off, but if you know right now he is with Keisha, and you know that Keisha runs a strict program. So anything that does not benefit her, anything that is not of Keisha, she will not have around her. And so I love my brother, and I think that we have a connection. I think that that's somebody I can talk to. But as of right now, we don't talk, and I understand why, and I'm not mad at it. If you are under somebody else's roof and they got a strict program, I wouldn't talk to you neither. If my life is ran by somebody else, I can't talk to you.
Hmm.
Shit, I can't
Well.
even fart without her knowing. Shit.
Oh my god. Okay. Neffy,
Yes.
what's your relationship with what's your relationship like with Neffy? And based off of your story, I don't even think y'all met yet, which is
Mhm.
crazy.
We've
But
never physically met each other. We've had multiple conversations on the phone, and the connection that I wish I had with Neffy, um, will probably never be there because number one, I think that she is very. When I talk about Neffy knows Vania, and I
mm-hmm.
think that number one. I call Vania twin, so that's my twin. I call, hey twin, how you doing, twin? I've been
Mm-hmm.
calling her twin since sophomore year, and I think that is something that Neffy has resented a lot because that's a position that she feels like should have been with her because we share the same mother and same father. Um, and so it would come up in conversation a lot. Anytime I would talk to her, she'd be like, "How twin doing?" She's like, "Oh, I love twin, but I'm supposed to be twin. That you supposed to be my twin." And I think because of the way that our me growing up was just completely estranged from my family. We don't have that. That has to be built. I built a relationship with Vania. I built a relationship with my sister Asa. I can't fake something just because we have the same mother and father. And so that I think that stopped us from being very close because instead of making that relationship together, it kind of just fell apart. And then it became her asking me for money. And then it became her always asking me for money to the point to where I was like, I don't want to do this no more. Like, I'm your younger brother. I'm like damn near 20 years younger than you. Like, I'm already going through things and I can't take care of my older sister. Like, unfortunately, to the point to where it's just like, do you love me because I have it or do you love me because I'm your sibling? Like I don't know which one it is. And so the reason why me and nephew are not close today is because I don't necessarily think that she's actually like my sister in a way. It's more of like I'm beneficial because of the things that I can do for her.
Mm.
And that's where our relationship is. Now I know we're sister, brother and sister by blood, but after the phone call yesterday, I understand my position in her life. So we are not close at all.
Y'all talked yesterday?
So we didn't talk directly. My sister talked to Sam, and me and my sister have not spoken ever since I decided to talk about my life. And I did get a message on TikTok. Mind you, they all have my number, which pisses me off. If you have my number, why not just call me? Like, that's aggravating. Like, why would I talk to you through social media? But again, that's how our relationship is. So for her, there were a lot of people in her life because she go on TikTok live a lot and she
Mm-hmm.
likes to talk about life and things like that. So again, I told everybody, do not go sending hate nowhere. If you want to hold people accountable, including me, send them a message. Hey, that's fine. But going over there harassing people, don't do. But one day
Right.
people decided to go on her live after I talked about some things, and they were asking her questions, and she said, "I love my brother for telling his story. It's his story to tell, and I think that he should tell it." But this was before I got into the part of me and Neffy not actually meeting. And I think once I said that, I feel like it became because you have to remember that Keisha has her hands in everybody's pockets and she very much controls this family, but she can't control me because she don't know me. We don't know each other. Yeah, we might have met each other, but I am not tied to Keisha. You got to remember, she didn't put money in their pockets and they have signed contracts and things of the nature. So Keisha has been the breadwinner of the family. So without Keisha, none of this, and even parts of me, I feel like even talking about this, I can say like, okay, I can talk about Keisha because she's my sister, but I also know she hasn't given me anything of monetary value for her to say that she's given to me to be able to say that she's the reason why I bloomed.
I feel exactly what you're saying because it's the same way in my paternal family where I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck about how nobody feels. I'm gonna say it.
Say
With
it.
my paternal grandmother, she's given to my siblings, even
Mm-hmm.
my cousin and their kids. But me and my other sister have not really been given anything. Like she's given them
Yeah.
one of them a house. She's given all them cars before, bukus of money. But maybe one or two things for me as an adult. Maybe paid the light bill when I needed some help, and that was the last
Mm-hmm.
person that I could ask for anything at that moment. Something like that. But because I don't need you, I can speak my piece and tell my story on how I feel I'm treated differently or how I'm the black sheep of this so-called dysfunctional ass family.
Mm-hmm.
They, on the other hand, need you. They, on the other hand, have been given things by you. So therefore, they're never going to speak ill of you.
Ever.
So I'm going to be public enemy number one because I'm the only one that's going to tell the damn truth that everybody
Mm-hmm.
is saying behind the emperor's back. So that's what it is. So I definitely get what you're saying.
You get it, and you know what I'm talking about, because
Yeah,
it creates this dynamic of power. Because
yeah.
now, when you do speak, they know they can all come together and say, "Well, no," because this person has always been there since day one, and then it becomes a group project, a we
Mm-hmm.
situation. What we feel, we think, well, what we don't want, baby. And and to just get back to saying, like, I understand that Keisha is the reason for a lot of their success, but there is no success that I've had that Keisha is the reason for. And so anytime that I speak, I don't have anything that's pulling on my heart to say, you know what, I can't say that because that's my sister. Or I can't say that because she loves me. We don't have that relationship, and I'm glad we don't, because in my life, I would hate to have to be controlled by somebody and base my decisions off of if my sister's a celebrity or not, or if my sister will never speak to me or not. There's so many things that they've went through that they won't speak about. That's why they don't like that I'm telling my story, because they can't talk about theirs.
And that's not, and that really has nothing to do with you. That's a
Mm-mm.
them problem. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's not your fault. I don't want to overstep when I
No, you fine.
I'm just, I feel like, yeah, this is an interview, but it's just
We
like two
talking.
two people talking.
Yes.
Just because they too pussy to say what they went through is not an issue of
Come on,
yours.
Scotty.
Just like you got the free range to tell your story, so do they. They have
No, that's
had free
right.
range to tell their story. As I've said while I was covering your story, Keisha
Mm-hmm.
had a reality show telling her story. Neffy had a reality show telling hers. So my thing is this: if they can get on BET and tell their stories for years and years, and Neffy can write a book and all this other shit, why is it such a big deal that you're on TikTok telling your story? And I just feel as though when it comes down to people telling their stories and speaking on things that have transpired in their life, what you got to understand is my story is my story. And if you are a part of my story, then you're just a part of the story. Whether it was a good part of the story or the bad part, the only thing that you can do is take ownership and accountability for the part that you play in said story. You cannot be upset with me because I'm telling my story. Telling my story is not a diss to you. It's
Nope.
me trying to unload all of this trauma that I've dealt with. Why do I need to continue to hold on to the same trauma for all these years just to make you feel better? I'm trying to heal. So if you can't take me trying to heal and you want to silence me, then that's your problem. So that's why I'm 100% behind you with telling this story, because I've been in your position. So I get exactly what you're saying. We're gonna get to Elite in a second, because Elite remind me of somebody in my family that I'm no longer speaking to, because they do the same thing. The same thing she's doing to you, they do it to me. That's why I understand
Mm-hmm.
it. However, and another thing that I also want to get into with the nephew part is what people gotta understand is, yeah, y'all share the same mom and dad. That's true. But just because you
Well,
share
come
the
here,
same mom and
Daisy.
dad does not necessarily mean that y'all are meant to mesh, y'all are meant to be close. I
Yeah.
know that as well from experience. That don't mean y'all are meant to be close. That don't
Yeah.
mean that y'all are meant to have the same values in life.
Mm-hmm.
God damn. That rain came out of nowhere. God,
No, because I did hear it. I was like,
that wind hitting hard. Okay, here out here
yes.
at the ATL. Okay,
Yeah, you
but
better be careful, girl.
but yeah, so but my thing is that if she wants to be your twin, she has to put in the work to be your twin. You actually built their relationship with Vanilla, and she was more of a sister to you than they are, and they're your blood sisters. Sometimes we have our own chosen family a lot of the time. You feel
Yes.
what I'm saying? Is he a Kimberly fan? They must be asking you if you like K Michelle.
I like that one song, very
I knew it was
special.
gonna be that. I knew it was gonna be that.
Okay.
but
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, like sometimes our chosen family treats us better than our biological family, but
Yes.
people ain't ready for that conversation. But I
Mm-mm.
get what you're saying when it comes down to Nipsey, and it's probably very much so what's what I'm looking for? Frustrating when you want that relationship with your sibling, but they want relationships with your pockets.
Mm.
Yes.
I
and
seen that
and
too.
it shows. And the reason why it shows now is because I'm underestimated with them. Because you got to remember, Keisha's the breadwinner. She's always been the celebrity. She's always been in the limelight. She's always made her own name for herself, which is respectable. A hustle like that, it's in you, not on you. Okay, you got to
Period.
have it. And she carried everybody from Neffy. And this is why I give her so much respect, because at a young age she was trying to take care of her mama and her siblings, and she was the one doing it all on her own. And so when you put your family on this public platform and they're not ready for it, a lot of times things fall apart, like your relationships, like financials, like being able to give things to them, like houses, cars, money, and they don't do the right things with it because, again, they're young as well. Even though Nephew was the older sister, Keisha was taking care of her. So how can she make her sister do something her own mother wouldn't even make her do, nor would she listen
Mm-hmm.
to? You can't tell somebody to go to Alcohol Anonymous and you're not their parent, and their parent you're taking care of. It's never going to have that relationship. It's never going to be that. So that fell through. To having to deal with Elite. You gave her a house in Atlanta. Elite wasn't able to take care of it. She was young. You was young. You bought something and didn't really know how to take care of it. It's the first of first. Like, it's very hard for you to keep this lifestyle that everybody else doesn't work hard for. And so I can understand why, when it comes to me, there's nothing. You've went through this with all six of your siblings. You've tried to give them the world, and even if on your end you couldn't give them everything because you didn't even know what to do, you don't want to do it again. So I can understand as to why Keisha has always been very closed off with me. 100% I understand that. But when it comes to being a celebrity and taking care of people, Keisha's been the only one. So Neffy doesn't really have no special talent. We ain't gonna talk about Shake and Go and his failed music career that never happened. What's Robert doing? You know what I'm saying? What we now let's double back, because the music career failed.
Oh my
It
god.
don't exist. She been singing Bay for 20,000 years. The Stone Ages are tired. Hang it up. Put it on the goddamn shelf and dust it.
Ha!
Oh my god. Okay, before we get, because
Elijah,
we was about to get into
please.
Keisha, but since we're about to get into Keisha,
Yes.
um, he asked Mr. Elijah, curious, what was your favorite Keisha Cole song? If you had to choose one, your go-to.
I
That's
always love, and I know it's like everybody's like, "Ah," it's always been love, because that was one of the first songs
oh
that I
god.
actually loved. And so it was, I would, if, listen, when my mom, my twin burnt, if anybody know about burning CDs, okay,
I
she
know.
burnt, okay, she burnt the CD at the fucking public library. Boss, like, knew what she was doing, hands down.
Not the public library. I didn't know you could burn CDs at the library.
Me neither. I thought she did it. Okay, Vanilla is something else. So she burnt the CD, and that was the first. That was the only song she was able to find to put on there from
Mm-hmm.
her album. And so I played it out till it scratched, and so it always has a place in my heart, because it was like the first real song of hers that I got to listen to on my own without having to go to Vanilla's house or the library or something like that. And I could play it in my room because my mom got me a CD player without the Keisha Cole CD. What the hell am I gonna do with a CD player and no CD? What the hell? So I got to play it. I had to play it real low because she couldn't hear it.
Well, since we talk about Keisha Cole songs before we, go into Keisha Cole, like one of my favorites by her is like "I Changed My Mind."
Yay!
That's my go-to. Uh, "Trust to Believe" is also one of my favorite songs by
You
her.
sing
I
it.
I sing that. I used to sing that in the car.
Yay!
Well, no, not real. I was singing in the car, but that was also my shower song. I sing that to the top of my lungs. Okay.
Okay.
Because I actually had a friend that had fucked my man back then, but that's another
No, they
story.
My
didn't.
God, today.
But this ain't the live for that.
Okay, this ain't
But,
the live.
but I actually related to the song back when it came out. Okay, and Heaven Sent is also one of my
Yes.
that's one of my favorites. And Trust with Monica, one of my
Oh
favorites.
my God, I do love that song, so I'm not gonna lie, because I love Monica, Brandy, and Monica. Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. So
Mhm.
let's get into Keisha. Do you
Yes.
have any relationship of any sort with Keisha? And if not, when was the last time you spoke to Keisha?
The last time I spoke to, because we don't have a relationship and it's by choice, and I did that for myself. A lot of these relationships that I don't have, later on in my life is by choice. So Neffy, Elite, Keisha, they're by choice because I don't need it. I don't need the dysfunction. I don't need the problems that come with
They
that.
show
It's a
you
lot that comes with
dysfunctional,
them
child.
having them in your life personally. So as of right now, today, I don't, and I'm okay with that. I don't think we need each other in each other's lives. And the last time we spoke to each other was when Frankie passed. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I believe that she was genuinely checking up on
Wow.
me, but I also believe that she wanted to know where my head was and why I was defending Sam in a way because I don't think that she knew at that point that I knew what happened between Sam and Neffy. And that is the reason why the group chat went left. And so I think I gave her props in that moment for even checking up on me and seeing how they was tearing me up in a group chat that I was not in. I'm talking about they tore me to pieces, to shreds. Elite
I'm
was tearing me
sure.
down.
I'm sure there's a group chat with my family members about me, but they know not to let me find out about it.
And if it ain't on the playground, the
I
motherfucking
like
shit was never
Scotty.
played.
Okay, they know not to let me find out about it at all because they already know how I'm coming anyway. So they know not to.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't have a relationship with Keisha. The last time you spoke to Keisha was when Frankie passed away. So
Yeah.
let's get into Sam. We know
Yes.
that show Brody, your road dog, all that good stuff. How did you and Sam become so close? And where are
Um,
y'all today?
Me and Sam became close because I accepted him for who he was. And Sam is Sam. You gonna get who you get with Sam. And it's either you gonna love Sam or you're gonna hate Sam. It's no in between.
Right.
And
I
I was
watched
in
a
a point in
little
my
bit
life
of
to
it, but
where
not a
I
lot.
always wanted a brother. I wanted a brother, and to know I had brothers, like me, we never were close. I never spoke to Sam when I was younger. I spoke to Sam in my adult life, and
Mm-hmm.
so I had to know that I had an older brother who was not only cool, but he said, "I don't care that you gay. I fuck with you because you my brother. I love you because you're my brother." And I was like, you know what? I love you even if sometimes you scared the shit out of me. I ain't gonna lie, buddy. You scared the piss out of me. Maybe I'm scared. But I let that go because why would I judge him for something that he don't even judge me for? And I say, you know what? I don't care what lifestyle you live. You my brother the same way that you accept me for me, I'm gonna accept you for you. And I think that's where we built our bond. And so when we did Frankie in the gang, we became extremely close because it was Elite's birthday. And I thought I was going there for a birthday party. Baby, they said we finna film Frankie in the gang, which I know you didn't
Elite
probably
seems
see.
to
I
Oh,
look
I
be
a
a
hot
saw
piece
it.
of
ass.
work.
They ain't
I
tell me
saw it.
nothing.
I'm waiting
They
for him
had
to
me
get
looking
on
like
her
a bum off
part.
the street. I was wearing it. What the hell? But I did it for my brother.
Yeah,
And it
got
was a
to.
moment that I was there with Frankie and we was in the bed together. Me and Frankie, we slept together that night. I got to actually spend the most quality time with her when I did Frankie in the gang. And she said, you need to take care of your brother Sam. They don't look out for him. They don't care about him. You need to take care of him. She said, he always wants to get us together. He's always on me about getting the family together and that I need to be a mother to everybody. You need to take care of him because he puts a lot on his shoulders. And at the end of the day, that's my son, just like you, my son. And I remember that. It was 3 in the morning. I was tired of shit. And she literally verbatim told me, you need to take care of your brother. And it reminded me of my actual mother, Miss Asa. And it's the same thing that she told me about my sister. She said, one day you're going to have to take care of your sister. And I hope that you're going to be able to be there to do that. And I promised Frankie in that moment, I was like, I'm going to always make sure I'm there for Sam. I am. Because that's my brother. And, he loved me and I love him. And that's what family is for. Little did I know when she passes, like it's kind of like she's seen this coming. I'm not even gonna lie to you
Mm-hmm.
because little do I know, 6 months later she passes after Frankie in the game,
Mm.
and now I'm in this situation where everybody is like, "Fuck Sam," and so and those moments are where me and Sam really bonded because it wasn't just about them not allowing him to go to the funeral. It was
So
about
Frankie
family.
knew.
And when you lose a parent, there's a part of you that goes with that parent. And it because there's moments that you can't ever have anymore, and your words that you've said to them, the situations that those all die with your parent. And I think if I wasn't there for Sam, if I wasn't able to be there for my brother, I don't think he would have made it. I don't think that he would be here today. I genuinely do not.
Wow.
I
Mm.
think that would have ate him alive to be
Mm.
ostracized. If I didn't know Sam and I wasn't in his life in the way that they did him, I not only don't think that I think I would have stood up for Sam, but I also don't think that I wouldn't have came down to meet with Sam. I wouldn't have been there for Sam. I do think that because of the medical conditions and everything that he went through, I think that he would not be here with us.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And they don't understand that because again, you got to remember everybody lost Frankie, so everybody's thinking about themselves. And
Mm.
to see him go to the hospital, to see him cry, to see him on the floor, really going through these things day in and day out. Like the man was having literal heart palpitations, having to go to the hospital, having seizures back and forth. Like, and no one knows. They don't care. They don't care to know. And to know that
Mm.
that's what he had to go through. And me and Barbie, which I mentioned multiple times, we were just sitting there trying to figure out what to do because, like, I never dealt with somebody that has seizures, didn't have heart palpitations, and then one day you're happy, the next day you on the floor on your knees crying, begging God to bring your mama back. Like,
My
I
God,
don't think
these
he would have made
people
it.
went through a lot. They
Oh wow,
life
that's
is
crazy.
something
Before we
else.
get more into this, I need to answer this question real quick. Someone said,
Yes.
Scotty, you look like you're 25. You tell me you're older than that. Yes, I am. Actually, I'll be 37 on the 12th. So
Elijah.
yes, I am older than 25.
30. No, you ain't. You a damn lie. 37?
February the 12th, 1989. Yes, I'll be 37 next
37.
month.
Okay, that's a
Yes.
good number.
Oh, you gonna need to send me your skincare routine. Wait a minute. Take go in that cabinet, take a picture. Yes, I need it. Cause what?
Yes, I am going to be. No one believes me, but I am definitely 36, turning 37 next month. Absolutely.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, you blessed. Cause ain't no goddamn way. You gonna send that to me.
But no, I had to answer that question. But yeah, because because I've never really just saw Sam as problematic, and I think that the thing is, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of times when it come down to families, and then there's like a celeb person in the family, and when there's issues within the family, people always seems to try to make it seem like they just mad because they're like it's a jealousy thing because they're not famous, but their sibling is famous and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. You feel what I'm saying? So, because I remember watching, because ever since I've been covering your story, things have been popping up on my homepage on YouTube. So it's like a lot of old interviews that Sam did. I think Sam did an interview with No Jumper, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can see in the comments are this nigga is bitter because Keisha is the nah, 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 nah. And I don't really think it's that. It's
Mm-mm.
not
He just has a
always
weird
about
way of
him.
saying it. He doesn't know how to
Yeah.
articulate it. Because again, you gotta remember, remember I told you, you either gonna love Sam or you
Oh,
gonna
you gonna
hate
hate
him.
Sam.
It ain't no in between. And when you have to remember that Sam is also a hood nigga. So
Mm.
when he speaks, it's going to be from a place of like, you got me fucked up. I got this, and I'm always have myself, but that's my motherfucking sister. And so a lot of times it comes off of very aggressive, like you got like, I want to fight everybody.
Mm.
And people don't realize that when he's speaking, it's actually pain. He's hurt
Mm,
more than anything because you might hear him say he needs some money. You might hear him say, I needed a radio deal. You might hear him say he wanted all of these things. And he's saying that he wants it because it was promised to him. There
mm-hmm.
were conversations that were promised to him. Sam was supposed to be paid on the show, and this is from his words. He said he was supposed to be paid on the show, but you got to remember, he's a hood nigga. So his sister says, no, what you're going to do is sign this contract, and I'm going to hook you up with studio time. So don't worry about the money because you're going to make millions rapping.
Mm.
And then a week later, you end up shipped off back to Oakland.
Okay,
Wow.
so that brings me to this before we even because we saving elite for last.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
so it goes back to what you just said, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember Frankie, not Frankie. I remember Neffy and Elite. I
Mm-hmm.
think they did an interview many, many years ago. This was around the
Mm-hmm.
time I think Keisha Cole had released her fourth album, and I think she went
Yep.
on a Monique show. She was basically saying that she wasn't dealing with them at the time. They went and did their
Mm-hmm.
own show. They left her out of the whole deal or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember them doing an interview, and I think they revealed in the interview that they never got paid for doing the way it is.
They did it.
So they didn't get paid.
Mm-mm. They didn't get paid. Nobody got paid besides Keisha.
Wow. I
Nah.
wish I
And
Okay.
the
would.
reason why you have to understand,
Get me.
at the time, I don't know how old Keisha was, but she couldn't have been older than 25 during the way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you're in this music industry and now you're tying your music to reality television. There are going to be people that need their money, okay? Because you got to remember, Keisha was in a 360. If you know anything about a 360 deal, you know
Mm-hmm.
that you owe a lot of money and a lot of people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now you're supposed to be going on this big ass tour, and now you got this reality television show right before your tour. You
Right.
need money. So why wouldn't BET do that? Why wouldn't they tell you, hey, have a conversation with your siblings? You know what I'm saying? These are the contracts. We're not going to pay them, but you're going to be able to let them know, like, hey, this is what's going to be happening. And then we'll be able to cut them something after. That's not something that's unknown of, baby. You go on a lot of these shows. Hell, Nene and all of them was just talking about how they was barely getting paid for Real Housewives. So if they're not even making more than 5,000, 3,000 an episode, what would
Hmm.
make you think around the same time that Keisha Cole is doing these shows that she's making big bread and they're paying her siblings that they don't even know exist?
See, here's the thing. The reason why a lot, because that was a very, I'm not going to lie to you. When I first heard Neffy and Elite say that in the interview, that was very shocking and surprising to me
Mm-hmm.
because of the fact that we all love Keisha, but
Yep.
Neffy made the
The
show.
show.
Her and Frankie in their drama gave it the extra notch that it needed. So of course we all thought that they were getting paid. So that's why it was so crazy now that I'm looking back because I didn't pay attention to certain
Hmm.
things back then. Because I think Keisha's the first season of The Way It Is came out as I was going to the 12th grade. And then
Mm-hmm.
I graduated high school when the second season came out. And then by the third season I guess I was in college, but really wasn't in college. But I
Yeah.
was in college, but really wasn't going to
Okay.
class like that. But whatever. But I remember Frankie saying because I posted a clip from the third season on my Instagram,
Yes.
and I remember Frankie say, "I don't have money for drugs. I barely have money to do this." And I'm just like, "Well, why you ain't got no money? Ain't y'all on TV?"
So let me. The way I'm gonna break this down. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? So you got to remember, they didn't get paid in their contracts, right? But they contracts they're tied to this network. That is why Neffy and Frankie ended up getting that first season of Frankie and Neffy, right? Because when you work with these people, they put you in these ultimatum contracts of you have to work with us for this long and we're not going to release you. You're not going to be out of this contract. So you're tied with us. And if you're tied with us, you're not going nowhere else, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
just think, they signed these contracts. Now they signed to BET for what, 15, 20 years. We ain't talking
What?
about a couple years. We talking about 15, 20. And you're not able to go nowhere else, right? You working with Keisha all these years and you're not getting paid, right? You doing these
Oh,
3 Keisha Cole
hell no.
shows, you're not getting paid.
That's
But what
another
are they
form of
doing?
slavery.
They're providing you with a lifestyle that not only you cannot afford, but you also can't upkeep because you're not making any money. You're making money off of club appearances and you're making the low end of it because, again, you become addicted to the things that they give you. What are you addicted to? Alcohol.
Mm.
Anytime to get Neffy to do what they needed her to do, they gonna slide a bottle in her trailer. Why wouldn't they? Their checks depend on their ratings, and they know if they can get them to act up, they're going to give them the substances to act up.
Dang.
Why do you
Mm-hmm.
think every time Frankie backslid and she came back on the show, she looked different? They would drop her off in the middle of Oakland, where Yaya's house. Why? Because that's what she's used to. Then she would come back on the show and they'd be like, we got to fix your life all over again because that's what people wanted to see back then. They wanted to see her act crazy, but
Hmm.
halfway get it together. And it happened. If you look at the shows, you see every season, it's an addiction, it's a battle. You're dropping her off in these hoods to go through these addictions, and then you drop her off in the rehabilitation centers after the season is over for a month. She get out, drop her back off in Oakland. The
Dang.
networks knew this, and they knew that they could make money off of this because guess what? People want to see us act crazy. They want to see Neffy have more kids. They want to see her go to the club and crash out on her sister. If you watch and you pay attention to the way that the network would set everything up, you would see, even with the Frankie and Neffy show, as they're trying to move past, they would set scenarios up that would make them aggravated. So, like for instance, like you said, I don't know if you remember if you seen Elite and Neffy, and when they did the paternity test, they
Uh-huh.
dropped them off in there. They didn't know that that was happening.
Mm.
They set it up by the network.
What?
They didn't know that all of that was happening. They went and found our father, and they dropped them off together. And they said, okay, now we're going to do the paternity test, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you watch it very closely, you see how aggressive everybody is because they're not happy with this. Why today do I have to find out who my daddy really is? Why today do I don't even know
Hmm?
this man like that. Like it's alleged, but damn, on a random Wednesday, I got to be dropped off at a paternity center. What the fuck? And they got to spot my, like, they knew how to get ratings out of Neffy. They knew how to get ratings out
Okay.
of Frankie. But once it's over, because Keisha stopped it, she said, "Listen, I have," and this is where you don't see the show and why Keisha speaks to this. So Keisha had power of attorney over Frankie, so she was able to stop the show, the Frankie and Neffy show, and she said, "There is nothing that Frankie's going to be doing without me." Period. So the Frankie and Neffy show had to cease to exist. She couldn't do it no more because Keisha was her power of attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Done. It's a wrap. But she still has a contract. I know you didn't heard Frankie said BET has fucked me over multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
She never got paid for the Frankie and Neffy show.
Come again.
She never got paid for the
Ah,
Frankie and Neffy show because of her contract.
And that was her show, and she never got paid for
She
it. That
never
is
got paid. I don't know about Neffy. I don't know if she received anything. Again, I'm not too sure. She never got paid. Ever. Not a single penny.
that's
mm.
crazy.
So when we talk about addiction and we talk about Neffy and the drinking habits, after all of this is no longer here, they're
Somebody in
left
the
with the
comments said,
habit. They're left with the
"Who got the
addiction.
money,
There's no
LaShawn?"
more show. There's no more using your name to get in these clubs because now you have nothing. You're not on TV. You're not you. The complete train is wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're stuck in Atlanta. Neffy's stuck in Atlanta with her kids. She's trying to make it. And now you don't have that crutch. Keisha's not talking to you. And that goes back to Elite and Neffy getting on the podcast and Keisha saying she's not messing with her siblings no more. Because this is all you know now. All you know is getting on the shows and trying to make money and making ends meet. You were making all of these so-called club appearances and doing these talk shows and things like that because you were on the show. And now when they take that away, that was your talent. You don't have anything else. So now you're looking at your sister like, fuck you. Because why are you not allowing me to do this? And Keisha's like, well, I fucked up when I was younger and I put y'all on this show and it's ruining my family. I made the decision to do that and now I'm fucked up for it. And you're fucked up for it. And they're like, well, I still need to make my money. And Keisha's like, well, I don't have nothing to do with that. Bye. I got a family to raise. And I
Wow.
don't want them to be like you.
Mm.
I don't want you around my kids. I don't want you in my area because you just like my mama. And I don't have time for it. So I'm going over here and good luck to your life.
So there was no way that even though Frankie wouldn't be a part of it, there was no way that BET could have given Neffy and Elite a show of their own.
Nope. Because their original contracts were signed to the first management, which worked with. So Keisha's actual man, they were signed to Keisha's management. They weren't signed to BET. So their first contract was under BET, but it was signed to the management that Keisha had at the time. So when Keisha's contract stopped, it was only for a set amount of time, but not theirs
Mm.
because all of their money was going to the management company, and the management company is the one that signed them.
What the
And they
fuck?
were signed under the management company, and BET controlled the contracts. Now Keisha could buy out of her contract. Why? Because she's Keisha fucking Cole. She got the lawyers and the attorneys to do so. If there was ever a time she needed to buy out, she could. Ask why Neffy ain't been on TV. When she was on TV, it took her 20 years to get back on Ayala Fix My Life.
Mm.
Ah,
Wake it
ah.
up. Wake it up.
I might tell a joke, but I never tell a lie.
Oh
Thank
She
my
you.
done wake it up.
God.
You always waking it
This
up.
is so okay. So that is the reason why y'all was doing a pilot for Frankie and the Gang,
That
basically.
never got cleared because guess who stopped it?
Keisha.
Thank you. And guess who told her? Because remember, Elite exposed herself about the group chat. Thank you.
Daddy
Wait a
me.
minute. So y'all was
Yep.
trying to do a pilot, Frankie and the Gang. Y'all was trying to get everybody together so y'all could do a show. And that's what Frankie wanted to do, a show. And correct me if I'm wrong, Elite told Keisha, and Keisha got it pulled, basically. So were they gonna do it? Like, was BT gonna pick it up or something, or what?
We were trying to have Zeus pick it up, but again, there
Okay,
were so
Zeus.
many moving factors at that time. So many different moving factors, trying to figure out the legalities behind everything. Sam was trying to figure it out, and I was trying to help him with it at the time. It was actually a moving thing. Again, you hit walls when you realize that your mother is in a undefined contract with BET for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've hit a brick wall because you find out, oh, Keisha has a power of attorney. You can't do shit. You can't even get a birth certificate. Hell, you can't request for shit without Keisha. And understandably so. She was taking care of her mother, but then it comes a point in time where if you're not gonna physically be there or, help this person when they need to get an ID or they need to get a birth certificate or they have to have signatures for certain things, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
And so when all of my story time, I did my story time, and there was a video that Elite made. Mind you, I said I keep a receipt. So I watched everything that she said, and she specifically said, we had a group chat. I had a group chat, and I was sending it to my siblings. It was 2 or 3 of us in a group chat. And we was talking about you being on Instagram, right? Now, when we did Frankie and the Gang, I seen Robert, Tifa was there, Elite was there, Sam was there. We were all there. Robert did not have a connection or any open connection right now at that moment with Keisha. Honestly, everybody there, quote unquote, didn't have a connection with Keisha. They were all mad at Keisha. It was the fuck Keisha trade. And I said I ain't in it because I don't know her.
Now,
Hey, if I'm gonna keep it real, I'm gonna keep it honest.
Now, let's get into it now. Now, I do know that there was a time where they were saying, fuck Keisha. They might not say it out their mouth like time out, but it was a fuck Keisha train, especially on the side of Nephew Elite and Nephew and Elite. They both weren't fucking with Keisha at the time, like at all. Like, it was to the point where when Nephew did the interview, she couldn't even say Keisha's name.
But
And this
it
was
was signs.
and this was before they came back together for that Keisha Cole All In show. That was before they came back together for that. And they wasn't even getting along on there, but by the end of the season, they miraculously started getting along. And then the Frankie and Nephew show came back finally for a second season years later. And then only for that not to come back after that because Frankie, kind of relapsed again towards the end. So we never saw a third season of that show. So it was kind of like,
she pulled the plug. She said it on the interview. She was getting her nails done and she was saying it on the interview. She's like, absolutely, I pulled the plug. So this is not something that she's used to doing that because again, she was in a transitional period in her life where she was trying to figure out what her family life looked like. Why would you not want to pull? I would pull the plug. But the way that she did it, she didn't realize that this was their livelihood. They've been on TV all this time, and now they don't have nothing else to lean on besides their addictions. Can't book a club if you're not club worthy. I'm just saying, I love my sister to death, but what? They can barely hum a tune, and what the hell Nephi gonna do?
They said, is Elite still in the townhome or house that Keisha bought for the family?
No, Elite lives in California. She no longer lives in Atlanta. That house has been gone. Probably about a year and a half or 2 after the show ended. Young and dumb, couldn't keep up with it. So
did she get
that
kicked
house
out?
has been gone. Huh?
Did she get kicked out?
Absolutely, she says it. She says it in the video. I just haven't posted it. She tells on herself every time. Mouth so goddamn big, she don't know how to shut the back up. I keep telling her, girl. It's not only that, it's all over the internet. She said this. She went on a fake interview and said this.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, it's nothing but the truth. I'm just regurgitating it because it's part of my life story. I can't help it. I wasn't around, but I know these things now. You know. But yes. So to get back to the Frankie and the gang and it not coming through, and there's group chats. So the way that Elite operates, especially around this time, and when I did Frankie and the Gang, it was fuck Keisha. So everybody, when I meet them and we're all together, that was the first time I met Elite. That's the only time I've met Elite. That was the only time I physically seen Elite. Other than that, I never seen her before. It was the fuck Keisha. Oh baby, they was fuck. It was the. I was like, damn, why y'all so mad at her? I was like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? They're like, fuck that bitch. Blah 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 blah. She owe us, and she did this, and she did that. Robert, Keisha, Tifa, Sam, they're all mad. I don't know why. I ain't never been. She ain't did. I was like, she ain't did nothing to me. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't fuck Keisha. I don't fuck. I don't have any vices with this woman. All I know is y'all don't like her, and I'm not here to dislike her. I'm here to celebrate your birthday and film Frankie in the Gang. Little did Sam know that the whole time Elite has had a group chat with Neffy and Keisha and told them everything.
So she
That
had a whole group chat with
elite.
Neffy and Keisha, but she was one of the people saying fuck Keisha the whole time.
Lord, elite is
Ooh.
something else, isn't it?
And so it when you go and we talk about the funeral, and it puts more context into why Sam was caught off guard as to why when Keisha came back, because you got to say this is months of 6 months, like 5 to 6 months after, right? Or before Frankie passes. And now everybody's like, Keisha comes back in and she's telling them what to do. Do this and do that and do this. And Sam is like, wait a minute, what y'all, why are y'all, we supposed to stand together? Like, hello? Keisha is just as much as our siblings as any one of us. And Frankie is just as much as our mother as she was to Keisha. So why are we just doing whatever she says? If you want to do something, you could do it too. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do it just because she says so. We don't have to do anything just because one person says so. I got enough money to pay for this funeral. We can all pitch into we can all do things on our everybody is available for this. It's not just Keisha Cole. They didn't like that.
Hmm.
If you hear Elite says multiple times, she said, I don't want to do anything that Sam wants to do. I don't care if he got money and cars, because it was never about getting together as a family. This was their shot at getting in good graces with Keisha. And unfortunately, it was our mother's funeral. And I got caught in the crossfire because I didn't understand why they did not want Sam to go to this funeral.
Okay, so so I think the funeral thing is where it kind of starts the whole rivalry with you and Elite. So since we're
Yes.
at the funeral conversation, we can start there, and then it can give us the leeway to get into Elite. Now, we all know that Frankie's death impacted everybody. I know when she passed away, I know my ass had shit. I'm an Aquarius, I don't really cry like that, but
Man,
I had a teardrop for a second
for
because I love me
Frankie.
for Frankie. Frankie, as a matter of fact, you might laugh, but Frankie was, I had this Dell desktop, and Frankie was
Uh-huh.
actually my background picture. It was her sitting on the porch on an episode of Keisha Cole the way it is, and she
I
was
know
on the
which one you're
phone.
talking about.
And
Yes, she was
she
on the
was on the
phone with
phone
Yvonne.
with Yvonne, and she said, "Absolutely not gonna be able to do it." And that's exactly what it was. It was it was my backdrop on my Dell. I still got that picture somewhere in my phone. I
I
might
am
just
not
post
gonna
it.
play with you
I might
at
just post it
all.
and tag you in it when I find it because I know it's in the phone.
Please. Because I'm not
But
gonna play with you.
but I love me some Frankie. But so we know that y'all was trying to plan the funeral, and at the time that Frankie passed away, Keisha was not speaking to none of y'all, and
Mm-mm.
she came back into the fold when Frankie died. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? She came back into the fold when Frankie passed away. When she came back into the
Mhm.
fold, she was telling people, "You do this, you do this, you do this, you do that." And it was more so, we're gonna follow behind. We're gonna do what Keisha says because we really want to be back in her good graces, and we're not gonna think about what the other siblings gotta say. We're just gonna get back in with Keisha. But you, being the Aquarius, that you are, you don't think like everybody else. So you're
Mm-mm.
saying, well, we're all a family. Frankie is all of our moms. So why can't we all just pinch in and do something instead of leaving it all for Keisha to do? Why don't we all come together and do it? But they didn't like that because you were the sole person that was literally saying it. And on top of that, they were pretty much excluding Sam from stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
you felt as though that wasn't right because that's his mama too. And Frankie already told you that they don't be looking out for this man, and they don't really fuck with this man like that, and he needs somebody to really have his back. So of course, that was another thing that you felt you had to do. You had to have his back because that's what your mama wanted. But in the same breath, it ain't really just about what Frankie wanted. It's just about the principle. You
Mm-hmm.
wanted him to be a part of the funeral just like everybody else. So my question to you is, why would that be an issue for all the siblings to have some type of part in this funeral if that's everybody's mom?
Because not everybody's seen everyone as equal. And
Mm.
so when you have a deciding factor that's like a Keisha Cole in a family that has this money, that has all these things, everybody is going to say yes. And I don't even think necessarily Keisha was coming in, and I didn't talk to her, but I know that these ideas weren't coming from Keisha. They were coming from Elite. And she was throwing these ideas and saying, well, this is what Keisha wants. And it was throwing me off because how would you know? Let her speak for herself. She's not in the group, so I don't know where she's at this point. I don't know nothing about Akita and Anefi because they not here. We ain't spoke. I don't know what they want. So all I know is Elite, Robert, Tifa, and me is in this group chat. We know what we want, and this is what we should do. But it got confusing because when you are in someone's life at the end of their life, you know more about them. So Sam was in Frankie's life actively, driving her, picking her up, making sure she had things for the past 4.5, 5 years that she was alive. And so when you try to exclude someone, but then you're asking them, well, what was her favorite color? What was her favorite food? Where did she like to go? Where was she hanging out? When you're asking these questions to the person that you don't even want to come to the funeral and you are having vices with, it's confusing. It's confusing. I didn't understand where anybody was coming from because if you did not want this man at the funeral, why are you asking him everything? Oh, you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And now you need this information, but again, it did not make sense to me. And this is why you see the text messages between me and Elite. I did not understand where she was coming from. And she didn't understand why I had Sam's back. Little did I know the whole time she's telling us and feeding us information is coming from Keisha because Keisha doesn't want to deal with it. Keisha don't want to deal with the fact of what Neffy and Sam has went through. Keisha doesn't want to deal with the fact that Elite and Sam have an issue. Keisha don't want to deal with the fact that we all know Tifa is crazy and she's super emotional and she don't know how to control her emotions. She's in there, she's out there, she's everywhere. So why not feed your sister who you feel like is okay with giving everybody information? She's level enough to do so, but not realizing she's tearing everybody up in this motherfucking group chat.
Okay, so that was another thing because I wanted to know why was Elite the person that was trying to run the show?
She took the reins.
Yeah.
Nobody was supposed to run the show. There was never supposed to be someone who was running anything. It was supposed to be us being together. And we literally, even in the group chat, we had a moment where we were all laughing and we were all sad. And we said, hey, this is fucked up, but at least we together as a family. What happened was Elite got held accountable for saying specific things because you got to remember she fell out with Sam. And it was
Mm-hmm.
a moment where Sam called Elite and everything went left because Sam wanted them to come over to the house. He was like, why would you be in mama's apartment like that? Like, it's in the hood. She don't have much over there. I get that y'all want to, you want to give your time and your spirit and your emotion to the place that she last was at, but it's 7 of y'all in a studio apartment. Why not bring y'all ass down here? And I got full bedroom and a fat ass living room. Like, y'all could just crash. I don't care if we had beef recently. I don't care. You my sister and I want to fix it. She didn't like that because she felt like Sam was rubbing it in her face that he had things.
Oh my
So she
goodness.
crashed.
That's
And understandable. You're
crazy.
emotional. Our mother just passed away, so I can get it. Your brain is not in the right moment to process what's going on. So any little thing is gonna set you off. If it's Sam, if it's me, if it's Keisha, if it's Nephi, if it's you're like Elite gets set off like that. It takes 2 seconds to set Elite off, and it don't take much. Okay,
Mhm.
so just think you throw your mother passing away, and everything it's like a bomb. So that pissed her off because she felt like he was throwing the money in her face. And now we in a group chat arguing. She, fuck you, Sam. I ain't finna come to your house. You trying to make this the Sam show. And he like, well, bitch, don't come then. If you
Damn.
don't want to come to my house, bitch, don't come.
Okay, so let me be clear here, just in case anybody's watching. Now, I'm allowing Elijah to tell his story, so
I'm
I ain't got
sorry
a
if I'm
dog.
cussing.
No, you good. I ain't got a dog in this fight, but I do got opinions. However, just listening to the story, it to me it doesn't seem like it was a ploy to rub in what I got. It's like, girl, y'all in a one bedroom studio apartment with all them damn kids. When I got all this room where in and we could all be together and plan everything. The kids got somewhere to sleep. I got shit for them to eat. I could, whatever. My girlfriend here, she could take up time. It's more convenient that way. But also, I also understand that y'all wanted to be closer to her spirit, and I get that. But if it were me, I wouldn't want to be at that damn apartment.
Mm-mm. I'm, hey,
Just being honest, if I got a brother that got a big ass house and got all this shit going, I would have went. Okay, so is you picking me up? Where we going?
but you
Cause
got to
I ain't.
remember, now we're talking about Neffy's in the picture.
Mm,
And
okay.
now, because they have not dealt with that situation that happened between Sam and Neffy, now it's uncomfortable. And they don't want to be next to Sam. They don't want to talk to Sam. They don't want to be around Sam because, again, Neffy has not dealt with, they hadn't have a conversation ever since then. So now imagine you have to see your brother after that incident years later, and it's because our mother has passed away.
Mm.
She didn't want to face it. She didn't want to face the music. She didn't want to face the allegations. So why would you? And now you have Elite piggybacking. Nephew don't want to see you, so why would I? Recipe for fucking disaster. And there's nothing you could really do to save it because your sister's not talking to you. Both of your sisters not talking to you. Now Keisha's not talking to you. Now Robert's not talking to you. And y'all had him and Robert were closer than me and him were. They talked
Mm-hmm.
every day. Now there's no communication because Keisha has came into the picture. So all of these different factors are running around, but the biggest problem is Neffy because she won't be willing to have that conversation with Sam. And so now it allowed Elite to have this momentum to say, you know what, I control this now. And when you leave a snake in the grass, you're liable to get bit. So she's like, now Neffy don't like you, I don't gotta like you. And Robert not talking to you, and Keisha for sure not fucking with you. So I run this shit. That's why that group chat happened. That's why there was a separate group chat because it was about control. It was about she felt like she was the moving principal in this funeral. And she knew that if she could get enough momentum, she could get back at Sam.
Mm.
And it worked out the way that she wanted it. Because now it's fuck me. Since I'm taking Sam's side, and like she said, I'm a half sibling to her. I'm really not a sibling. I'm half of a sibling. So it ain't easy to get rid of me. I mean, it's very easy to get rid of me. So when I asked her after, because they get into it really bad in the group chat, I stay silent. I text Elite and I tell her, I don't understand what's the problem between you and Sam, but what I will say is he deserves to go to this funeral because that is his mother and he is her son. You don't get to decide that. I don't care what y'all got going on, right? Again, I don't know at this time what happened between Sam and Neffy. Everybody's already at Frankie's house, right? Mind you,
Mm-hmm.
they're over there with the alleged man that gave Frankie them drugs. But we learn that when Tifa comes over because they kicked Tifa out the car. But that's a leg. We gonna talk about that now. When I text Elite and I tell her this, she said, "You don't understand how he treated me, and I don't even think you get it because you're never around. We were just together 6 months ago. I seen how much you love Sam. You love being around Sam. Sam is they like because Elite is very much like a bull dagger. She's very much. I know you didn't. I listen. I'm gonna call it what it is. Listen, she's a nigga at heart, baby. When I see she was picking up them girls, they have strippers at the house to party. Oh my god, I got videos. I ain't gonna post them, baby, but let me tell you, she is a nigga at heart. Her and Sam are like brothers to each other. Like that's her
Hmm.
brother for real. Like her nigga, like they ride around and yeah, they get the bitches together. So I didn't understand where she was coming from because I'm like, this is not. I don't know what you're talking about because I just seen y'all at the house and y'all had hoes together. I don't. Y'all was passing back and forth. I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is there is no situation that's not going to let your brother go to this funeral. Period. Period. End the conversation. Right. I'll let it be that. She cussed me out. She said, "Fuck you. You don't know shit. You ain't even been here. How dare you give your opinion, bitch? Who are you?"
Mm.
And that's when I tell Sam, like, what is the problem? We were just together. That's when he tells me what happened between him and Effie.
Mm.
Yeah,
Which was odd, but yeah.
it's very strange to know that that happened or to allege that that happened in that moment while we're trying to grieve with our family. I never disliked Sam for it because again, when you go through something like that, and I understood him because I went through the same thing with Uncle Lonzo, and I think that the number one problem with people that go through sexual assault, especially when it's coming from a family member, you want to be believed. And so I will always believe a victim. It don't matter who you are. I'm always going to believe the victim. It don't matter if it's a man or I'm going to believe you because I know what that's like to not only go through that, but I empathize with people not being heard. And so in that moment, I understood why Neffy didn't want to come over because why wouldn't Neffy want to come to her brother's house? Neffy's always asking us for money. She's always asking us for something. Neffy asks. So why is it that you, this brother that have all of these things that you ask everybody for, you don't want to be at his house? It made perfect sense. Why you didn't
Hmm.
want your kids over? It made perfect sense because the accountability of it all. You didn't want to face your skeletons in your closet, and now that they were coming out because we all have to be together. And Elite knew this because Elite said this on Instagram years prior when her and Neffy and Keisha was beefing. All of them was beefing, and she said it on Instagram. She said it on an Instagram post. She said, "Why you not answering my calls, and why you don't want to deal with what's going on between me, you, and Keisha? Just remember, you the reason why we not talking to our brother right now, since you want to sexually assault people and put dicks in their mouth."
Mhm.
Sam showed me, because if you think I keep a receipt, so do he. Yes. So he said everybody knows this because she said this already, and that's why Neffy does not want to face the music.
Mm.
So now I'm getting cussed out by Elite. And that's why you see me go on Instagram and so hard on her. I don't even mention that's the reason why, because now I know your play. Now I know who you are as a person. Now I see you for who you truly are and why you're truly mad at my brother for no fucking reason. Because you want to be in control of a situation that benefits you. You know, if you can be the leader, everybody is going to give you a round of applause and say, "Oh my God, thank you for putting this funeral together." But you also know you can rub it in your brother's face because you guys fell out prior to this. But even deeper than that, Elite knew that she was in communication with Neffy and Keisha the whole time we were filming Frankie in the gang. And not once did, when Frankie was asking, did anybody have connects to Keisha? Did anybody have her number? I just want to talk to my daughter because I ain't talked to her in so long. She knew she was in contact with them. And she could have called both of them to speak to Frankie, and she didn't. And that was a choice of hers. So I think that was what's also was eating her up the whole time during the funeral, that you could have connected your mother with the sibling that they wanted to talk to the most, and you didn't do that. So I think in a way, she felt like she had to give herself, all of herself during this funeral to try to be the leader, and it backfired. It backfired. And unfortunately, again, it took to Instagram. And now we're going back and forth, right?
Hmm.
Now, I was crazy on Instagram at that time. I had like maybe 20,000 followers on Instagram. I don't know. Maybe if I listen, when I tell you I was showing a piece, baby, because a piece was to be had. Absolutely. Why would I not? Huh? You want to give me a little bit of money? Absolutely. I think that that's a wonderful thing. If you got it, flaunt it. Hello, Beyonce told us to do what? Thank you. I ain't
Okay.
finna, I ain't finna waste it. And so I never mutually followed Elite. It sucked because yes, I knew Elite was into women, and she had a little bit about herself that I could. She was very much into the LGBTQIA community. I knew that. But it was always something about Elite that rubbed me the wrong way, especially the comments that she would make. So I never mutually followed her. At the time, the only person that followed me mutually was Keisha. And it kind of took me aback. Because I'm like, girl, why do you want to follow me? But again, I think that Keisha appreciated somebody that stepped on their own 2 feet and didn't require her to do anything. So the only person that
Right.
followed me mutually was Keisha. I didn't even follow Sam. It's just social media for me. It didn't matter. But I always follow Keisha because I like their music. So I'm following one of my favorite artists still. So why not? And she followed me back. So hey, if that's what she want to do, hallelujah. Um. So when me and Elite get into it on Instagram, I did not know that she started with me. Vania called me and said, "Hey, I think this play is about you, nigga. You better go check her Instagram because she calling you out, and what you finna do?" I said, "Oh, don't worry about that. I got this." She posted our messages in the group chat. She
Mm.
posted everything that I said, but none of her responses. So I said, if you gonna air it, bitch, I'm finna tell it all. Thank you. So I posted all of our responses on my Instagram
You
story.
did.
Because you're not gonna post half of a conversation. If we're gonna tell it, we're gonna tell it all. And she didn't like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
My ex. My ex sees it, the one from Florida. Oh my God. Yes. And this is where the dudes come into play. Because again, he and me, I left him without a trace. I didn't talk to him, bitch. I got to go. We not talking no more, baby. You over here getting I'm talking about from the rooter to the tutor. I don't want no life like that. I got to
Right.
go. I
Exactly.
got to leave. So he sees us mutually going back and forth again on Instagram. He follows my family. He knows everything because he was kind of there for the end part of it. So you know what I'm dealing with. So he sees Elite post she don't fuck with me. So he hops on that. Now this is where Dorian comes in. Because I know you're wondering, well, how did Dorian get thrown in this mix? Where does
Yes.
Dorian fall in this drama and why does he feel so entitled?
Mm-hmm.
He, right? Because I did my research. Dorian is a gay man. He lives in the lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dorian knew my ex and he found his Twitter at the time.
Mm.
And he confirmed that everything that he had was true because he subscribed to his OnlyFans.
Mm.
Now, what cousin of yours would ever go that deep, right? To try to figure out all of this tea and try to see you naked and try to send all these clips and videos to your family, huh? The ones that Elite already had. But you're going to go through the link because you are her sheepdog. You're her lapdog. Whenever they need the dirty work done, they're going to send Dorian to go do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't do it themselves. If you ever know anything about Neffy and Elite, they always throw rocks and hide their hands. But then they throw Dorian under the bus. The way that they threw him under the bus for talking shit about me. And the whole family caught wind about it. Elite threw him under the bus and said, "Oh, Dorian been talking shit about Ellis." And then everybody was ready to jump him. This was a day after the funeral. And
Mm.
they all was ready to fight him. It was Elite that threw him under the bus. So when we talk about this family group chat, when we talk about Frankie's funeral, when we talk about everything that was at play, Elite used everything against me to the point of sin. The reason why I know it was Elite that went to Starbucks is because when the idiot used her fake number, right, to call Starbucks, that's the same fake number she gave me.
Mm.
She like, how do you know I'm in talks with Starbucks? Girl, I have the pictures. I took a picture of the phone call list. It's the same 510 number. Stupid.
Oh
Dang.
my goodness.
So she was
Mm-mm.
sending my nudes to Starbucks. She sent them in the family group chat after we fell out on Instagram. And the way that she did it was so sick because there are cousins that she has on her side. So Elite is also adopted, right? So she has
Mm-hmm.
cousins on her side that she had in this family group chat. And she blasted me. I'm not talking about no, oh, let's send an Instagram post. She blasted all of my pictures I took with my ex in this group chat and said, look at this
Mm-mm.
fuck nigga. And they all gag. They gag. They're like, what? We just seen him at Frankie in the gang when we was at your birthday party. Cause remember, all of them seen me at her birthday party because it was her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So all of her adopted family showed up. Robert was in this group chat. Sam was in this group chat. Nephew was in this group chat. They was all in this group chat. I was not in this group chat because I was not considered family.
Mm-mm.
She says it multiple times. I was never considered family. So she blasted me, but she didn't think Sam would tell me. She didn't think. She forgot to take him out the motherfucking group chat.
Because I was just about to ask you, how did you find out about the group? But you found out because Sam was in the group and Sam came back and told you. Got it.
I was
So
living with him at that time.
so it goes. So now that you said all this, now it's bringing me to my original question that I wanted to ask as far as your rivalry with Elite. Why is it that Elite has so much heat for you out of all of the siblings? Because even with this story, we don't hear Keisha saying anything. We don't hear
Mm-hmm.
Neffy saying anything. We don't hear, if Neffy said anything, I missed it. We don't hear
Mm-hmm.
Keisha saying anything. We don't hear Neffy saying anything. We don't hear Robert saying anything. We don't
Mm-hmm.
hear Tifa saying anything. We don't. Now Sam might be saying something now because he didn't got brought into this,
Mm-hmm.
but Sam's not really saying anything. But Elite is the only one that's
Mm-hmm.
coming at
That's
you, making lives, because she literally just made a live the other day because I watched that damn live. I keep my ear to the
mm-hmm.
streets. I watched the live when she was going in, and then she brought up BB and that
Mm-hmm.
her bitch ass daughter let all. I'm like, well, what's up problem with Nancy, child? So why is it that she don't? Why don't she like you? Because it's clear
Because
that
she
she
can't
don't like
control
you.
me. She can't control me. She can't control the narrative. And unfortunately, I said this multiple times. I can't help who you are to me. She was
Mm.
able to dogpile on me on Instagram. She was. I didn't even know I was on TikTok. There were people posting the video, the live that I did with Sam on TikTok. We were sitting in different areas of the house, going on live together, talking about everything and talking about how we couldn't be at the funeral. You know what I'm saying? I did not know this, but Elite was able to control the narrative because guess who everybody believed.
Her, because she was on
Now
TV. And on top of that, I remember she did an interview with some lady one time
that's her
during.
fake friend.
Oh wow.
So that's her. That was her friend at the time, and she had her friend create content. That's why I said it's very deep. She had her
Yeah,
friend.
because that particular YouTuber made covered child family drama. That's all. I think that's all they had on that channel back then. Because that's how I was getting all the tea about what was going on with you guys. Because she did an interview with that lady, and then she was posting everything about what was going on with y'all on Instagram on her page. So now it makes a lot of sense to me now. Because I'm like, is
Mhm.
this all she gonna talk about? Is it no shade? Because I'm a YouTuber, been doing this shit for
Right,
15 years now. So
but
I
you
ain't
do a lot of content. You have
right.
the multitude.
Right. So I'm like, so now that I know that she has a connection to Elite, and that is the reason why it makes a lot of sense to me now.
And if
But
you even look now, she doesn't post anything because
she
they're no
don't.
longer friends. Elite made content around our mother passing. She turned it. She was doing baby. She's doing what these content creators are doing now, and don't even realize it. She's turning actual real problems and family situations. She turned it into a whole thing, and thought she would benefit off of it. Thought she would get popular and famous. No one seen it for what it was because no one called it out. Elite is able to get away with everything to this day, and nobody goes up against her because the first thing she want to do is fight. The first thing she want to do is put her hands on somebody. That's why I said, why do y'all think nobody talks about what goes on? You think her and Frankie ain't put hands on each other? You think she ain't put hands on Frankie? I watched it. We all,
Well,
everybody, thank you.
well,
Every sibling has seen it.
well, she did say on the Keisha Cole All In show, Frankie did say that she has put her hands on her. She did say that if you wasn't my mama, I'll beat your ass. And she did say, you want to turn up? You want to turn up? I drag little bitches like you. You know,
Hmm.
she did say that on the Keisha Cole,
And the
All In
reason
show.
why is because that's in her nature. Elite, you got to remember the situation that we all grew up differently. So you already have a mother. The same way I had my own mother, Elite already had a mother. So it's nothing to her to just throw Frankie to the side. And it's no shade. Understandable. That's not the lady that raised you. You have a different respect for her. There's a different level of understanding you have for someone that's in the streets that you know is doing these things. And unfortunately, you don't keep it real because every time Elite gets online, she said it's for entertainment purposes only. So it's fake. I mean, we gonna keep it a buck. If I'm gonna study my target, I'm gonna know everything about them. It's not real. And so the reason why Elite don't like me so much is because I'm honest. No one goes against her. No one tells her what to do. No one has told her it was wrong. And every time Elite done spoke up, everybody is scared. I don't give a fuck. You don't pay my bills. And I never spoke up. If you, for some reason, she thinks this 15-hour life story is about her. I'd be damned if I talked 15 hours about a motherfucker that can't do their perm correctly and throws on a shake and go wig on a
My
bad Wednesday when it's
God.
raining in a fucking Honda that got an alternator problem. I'll be fucking damned.
Dang.
I'll be damned.
Not all
I'll
of
be
it.
damned.
Shaking me.
Hey, if I'm going to say the things, it's going to be honest.
Mm, Jesus.
So right now, she can't benefit off this the way that she benefited off of Frankie passing. She can't benefit off of this the way that she always thought she could. Because you remember what all of them benefited from? Keisha being famous. So now we're at a point in my life to where I'm talking about my life story, but I've built my platform already. I
Mm-hmm.
started on February 1st. I started my platform on my birthday. February 1st, and I made a birthday post and I said something random like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be on TikTok, whatever, who cares? And then I started talking about political things because again, he just became president, and now we're talking about the things. All of these protests are happening, and this is what I do in my real life. So let me talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I gained my audience. And that I started a whole revolution with saying Mexicans ain't going anywhere. And again, Elite was following me at this point. Everybody in the fucking country started saying it. They started making businesses. They started protesting. The next day after I said it, they protested out in LA. I know you probably seen it. It was on the freeway, stopping everything in LA. I
Mm-hmm.
said this back in March of 2025. This was the same month that Auntie BB passed away, right? So we're at a point in my life to where Elite is following me. I'm not following her. And again, I see her looking at my page because at the time I didn't have many followers. I think I had maybe like 4,000 followers at the time in March, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing these things to become my own person, and I'm starting to garner this sort of success in a way, as you would say. You know, people are trusting me. They're trusting my word. I'm doing research. I'm doing the journalist part that I want to do in real life that I say I'm going to school for. This is what I want to do, and I'm actually doing it online, and people are actually agreeing with me. And Neffy sees that. So Neffy decides to follow me. I didn't even know she followed me. Right? And so now I'm at this point to where I've garnered a little bit of success. I think I have 120,000 followers now. It took me 2 weeks to get 120,000 followers. And now it's big. DL Hughley's posting about me, right? All of these different celebrities are posting me, talking about ICE, talking about what's going on in this world and in the administration. Now I'm into it with Candace Owens. Auntie BB
Ooh,
passes away. Yes, me and Candace. Baby, I told her a new one, baby.
I
I'm talking
love
about,
it.
oh, if you can see her wig.
I love it. Trust me.
Okay, I ate her from the rooter to the tutor, baby. She was confused. Um, but now Auntie BB passes away. And now I'm at a point where I'm in school, I'm at Olive Garden, I'm working, I'm doing all these things. Again, Elite follows me. Neffy follows me. I don't know this. And I get a message from Ajane. Actually, I think I get a message from Leslie on TikTok, and then Ajane texted me, but my phone stayed on Do Not Disturb, so I didn't really see the text message. My number don't change, so hey. So now we're at a point in this story and where this is where Elite gets brought back into it, and Auntie BB passes, and Leslie has said she's reached out to everybody,
Hmm.
and she says Neffy wants to have a conversation with you because she wants to talk, and she says she just I've been in because Leslie told her that she talked to me. She said I feel like you guys got to have this conversation because I can't have this conversation for you, and that's when me and Effie decided to have the conversation and we talk. Nothing's changed at this point. It's the same Neffy. Nothing's changed. And so I realized that my family, I can't escape it, but I also can't change it. So I
Mm-hmm.
know that Neffy has not changed. So I'm like, well, let me send Elite a message. Left on red. I go to her socials. I see she has a TikTok because I'm like, let me see if she has a TikTok. Maybe because I have followers, she will respond. Left me on red. So now we're at a place where you know where I am and you know who I am and you know that I'm on social media and you know that I'm active and I'm doing these things and you don't give a fuck. Right? Okay, cool. We know I go down to see Auntie BB. She's passed. There's a lot of things that are going on with that. Auntie BB then slipped, hit her head. Now she's gone. I show my cousin how to set up a GoFundMe. I don't do the GoFundMe on my end. I set it up for herself. I posted on my platform. They donated about $2,400 to the GoFundMe at the time, right? And I told her, whatever you make, I will double. I will make sure that I give that back to you. Whether that be buying groceries, whether that be down here helping you clean, whether that be down here getting you a whatever you need from me, you let me know, and I got you. But my siblings ain't showing up. They're not gonna
Mm.
come. And I know Auntie BB took care of them, but they are not gonna be here. And so that happens. Ajane shows me and tells me, hey, this is where we're going to go to find your mother or to bury Auntie BB, right? Because we're going to put her in a mausoleum, right? But I also want you to know that your mother is here. Because I never knew where Frankie was, right? So she
Mm-hmm.
tells me that your mother is here. I don't really believe it though, because you know what I'm saying? They didn't even tell my cousins. They kept my cousins away from the funeral as much as they could. They kept them out of the loop. Now, mind you, during the funeral, Leslie was housing after because they ended up leaving Frankie's house because again they got all these kids and they didn't want to do it. Leslie was putting them in hotels. Leslie was buying them because she was working at a hotel at the time, so she was getting free points to be able to put people up. So she was putting them in hotels, Elite, Neffy, and all of her kids in hotels.
Mm.
Now you ain't gonna hear them say that, baby, because they gonna say they got it out the paint, and they got money. It was on Instagram with money talking about they doing this, doing that, throwing parties and all this stuff, right? Mind you, remember they said that Frankie was supposed to have a block party at Yaya house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's supposed to have a block party down there. Uh-huh. Yeah, in the Roaches. For her birthday. They was gonna have a block party in the Roaches for her birthday with 50,000 cats smelling like shit. I don't know what the plan was. And I didn't know Yaya's house looked like that neither. Keep it a buck with you, I didn't know, and that was my fault. I should have been more in tune with the family. But when we talk about the fact of Elite knowing my online presence, being there for Auntie BB, knowing that I was there, finding Frankie, doing all of these things, sending them the pictures of Yaya's house, the videos as well to them, and them not responding, Nephew or Elite, nobody responded. So I just felt like they didn't give a fuck, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now we're at a point where I've communicated. And you know, hey, I ain't a barb no mo. But Nicki Minaj them proposed to me at this point. I've had contact with Amaya from Love Island, Olandria from Love Island. Had a conversation with Kamala Harris at this point. Gavin Newsom, I done had a conversation with him. I done talked to several different influencers off of social media, and we're getting together and doing different things. I done did a Halloween party and invited all these influencers out, and I done gave back to the Mexican community. I done gave back to the shelter that I was fucking staying in 7, 8 years ago. I'm in the fucking streets every day giving homeless food and water, trying to get them resources and connected with different shelters. They see my name everywhere. I'm talking about my name is everywhere. They see my face everywhere. There's not a place on the internet at this point where you don't see my goddamn face or hear my goddamn voice. There's trending sounds. There's trending videos. I'm talking about me and my girl Wendy Ortiz. If you don't know, girl, that's my sister. I'm defending her in the Mexican community because she's getting attacked by people. Because at this point, a lot of Hispanic creators are getting attacked because they're saying if they have legal status or not, and that they should be checked by immigration. There are so many things that I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for people to have legal status. I'm helping Native Americans and them and their trials and tribulations with them having status in this country and this fucking administration and people saying that they don't deserve to be here because they not owed anything. I'm helping
Mhm.
the black community and black people out because again, all of this affects us first. There's
Yeah.
not one part of the internet at this point you don't see my name. I amassed 500,000 followers in 10 months of just using my voice and using my platform, right?
Right.
Made enough money to be able to move back to California. Right now, I am set for life. If I didn't want to work a regular 9 to 5, I could retire today, right? You see me. They see me. So now we're talking about closed adoptions. And at this point, I'm not in communication with Elite or Nephew or anybody in my family, not even Sam, because again, I'm restarting my life and I'm trying to get into a place to where I feel stable and stability in my life. If you really want to know why, and if you really want to get to the point of Elite not wanting to have a relationship with me and why she's so frustrated, everything that I just named to you, she could never do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
She could never do. She never could do. And it's not that she couldn't do it. There was never an opportunity that she took to try and do it because everybody relied on Keisha, Maisha, Cole to give them a platform, to give them money, to give them an opportunity, to give them anything, whether it be $1 in their pocket or a song written by someone else in a studio. They were not prepared for the opportunity. How are you going to get in the studio and make a song and you don't go to singing lessons, nor do you sing on a day-to-day basis and you smoke cigarettes and drink? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me. And it's not to judge anybody because I do believe that they weren't set up for success. When you're not set up for the position that somebody is trying to give you, you're going to fail every time. When they don't tell you the reality of the situation, you're never going to make it. And I've had to fall flat every time when I wasn't set up. And I know that. I know
Mhm.
that on my own. I know that there were opportunities that I could have taken, but I wasn't ready for. Even today. There were opportunities that I should have been meeting with the president of Mexico, like the administration wanted me to. I wasn't ready, and I knew that. But there was no one in her life to tell her that she was not ready for these opportunities, and she went and she did it, which is wonderful. But again, you did not have a foundation to do this, and you failed miserably. And now you have to watch the person that you don't like, that you said would not make it, that you said would not be anything, verbatim on the phone at Starbucks after I found out you sent my news to them and I called you and you tried to record the call. You have to watch somebody live and be successful every single day that you wished hate upon, you wished death upon. You have to watch them be successful without Keisha Cole. And not only can you not celebrate that because you're not in their life, now they're telling their closed adoption story. And now we're at a point where you have to live the skeletons that's in your closet and you got to put them skeletons together. And now they doing a dance. Baby, I'm talking about they tribal dancing in that closet ready for you to open that motherfucker like it's Deal Del's Muerte.
But you know, it be like that though, because
Mm-hmm.
this is why I say that although the stories are different, but the outcome is the same. It's the
Yes.
same thing with me and my paternal family. Just like I feel as though you, and I could say Sam is too, but I feel like you are like the black sheep of the family, just like I kind of am, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not no kind of I am, because I'm the only one who speak my mind. I'm the only one who sees things for what they are, and I just refuse to live in a narcissistic family dynamic that is toxic. I refuse to do that, and I want to break those chains down. And it's always the person that everybody hates
Mm-hmm.
that seems to get it by themselves and move along on their own. You were able to get your name without being attached to Keisha Cole. You were able to have your own success without being attached to Keisha Cole. Yeah, that's your sister. But if they really wasn't, but some people probably won't even know that's your sister until you say it.
They didn't
So
know until I
until
told. Yep, never
now,
said it.
yeah. So it's just like most people wouldn't even now. If you somebody like me who knows this fuck and is into the gossip, and I got to do that for this channel, I already knew. But however, some people might not even know that. So you got your own name. It's the same thing over here. Like you
Mm-hmm.
bitches hated on me. You bitches don't like me. You bitches can't stand the fact that I speak my truth. And here I am. I have a platform of my own. 58,000 subscribers, 3 awards later, and I have a book and everything else under the sun. So
Yes.
y'all gotta watch me do my thing. Y'all can't even say congratulations, not even repost it on Facebook because you're so damn mad. So I get exactly where you coming from.
Yes.
I understand. It's always like that, and it sucks. But it is what it is. Sometimes we just gotta understand that even though our family is our family, we don't have to deal with people just because they're
Mm-mm.
family. You
Facts.
can make the
Mm.
decision at some point if you want to make that decision and be like, well, I'm open. But then again, there could be a situation where you may feel like, nah, I'm good. Because just like, I don't know if you feel the same way as I do,
Mm-hmm.
but
I do.
as far as my siblings, I only talk to one, and that's my baby brother. But that's on my mom. That's on my maternal side. Like I'm 11 years older than him. He was born when I was 11 years old. We share the same mom, but not
Wow.
the same dad, and we're like this. When I first moved to Atlanta almost 2 years ago, that was the reason. That was the source of my tears because I was separating myself from him. But I had to
Wow.
do that for me. So it
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. But that's my dog. However,
Yes.
on my paternal side, all these siblings I got, it's just like for me, I've decided to go no contact with them. But the thing is, my door is still open. I don't mind trying to build a relationship, but I'm not gonna be the one to start it. If you
Yes.
want a relationship with me, you're gonna have to come to me because I've tried to come to you. I
Hey.
tried to reach out to you. I tried to have her, and I feel like that's what you have done. You tried to reach out to them. You tried to have bonds with them. And if a motherfucker don't want to give you that bond, then you ain't got to beg them for it. If they
And
want a
when.
bond, they're gonna have to come to you. But there's a lot of things that will have to be done
Mm-hmm.
before they come to you. We're trying to have a bond because some things are just irreparable. Some things
Yeah.
can't be repaired. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of and when it comes down to you and in elite, to me, it's like when you sit back and you watch it, you be like, oh, they brother and sister. It's a shame that they're going at it on social media because it is a shame. But at the same point in time, it's kind of like, well, at the end of the day, they might be brother and sister, but that don't mean they gotta be binded for life either.
And we don't. And I'm okay with that. And I think with me telling this story and being able to talk about it, I'm not in a space where I need to repair anything with anyone. Because if there was a repair that needed to be made, it needed to be made years ago. We're talking about I'm telling my story from a standpoint of me being 13, 14 years old, sometimes even going back to where I was 9, 10 years old. So if we talk about the things that's done that happened to me, it's the past. But it's
Mhm.
in the context of my life story. So if there was ever some wrongdoings that I needed to speak up for, I did it in the past. And if you don't want to do it today, if we don't have that conversation today, baby, my tomorrow is still going to be great. I'm still going to wake up. I'm still going to eat good food. I'm going to have good family in my life. I have my sister from my adopted side. I got Vania. I got my best friend Christian. I got JP. I got these people that love me. And I've created these opportunities through my own life and through my own trials and tribulations to be able to even be in this interview with you today.
Yes, like I said before, like when I first started covering your story, like I had this in my head that I said, I hope he wanna I would hope that he would mind
Yes.
coming over here to my platform and give me this interview because I was listening to your story and it just sounded like a young me.
Oh, don't say
It
that.
just
You gonna make me get emotional. Don't make me get
no,
emotional.
like it did. Like you gotta understand, like people really don't understand how
Yeah.
hard it is to be that one person in the family that sees everything for what it truly is. And when you coming from a family that never wants to talk about the issues, and then when you choose to talk about it in your own way, then you are the villain.
Yeah.
And there were things that I wanted to discuss on my platform in regards to my family, but I didn't want to do it because when I first did it, everybody got mad with me. Everybody iced me out, even though I was already iced out anyway. But they
Right.
already iced me out. They iced me out the first time I did it. So I'm like,
That's
okay, I ain't
real.
gonna do it no more. Like, I was 23, 24 at the time. When I was just
Right.
telling my story. Just telling my
Right.
story. And the story had nothing to do with the motherfuckers that was mad. I'm just telling my story, but they mad. So I'm like, okay, I
Wow.
ain't gonna do it no more. But as a 36-year-old man who looks every bit of 26, I don't have time to be worried about what anybody gotta say about my story that I choose to tell because everybody got a story and ain't
Yep.
nobody perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like I might be
Nope.
a just how I might be an angel to the next person, I might be a villain to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely okay with being either your angel or your villain in your story. I
Yeah.
did it. So
Yeah.
I gotta take accountability for that. Now
Absolutely.
it's one more thing because I didn't realize it was gonna go. This thing was gonna go on for over
Right.
2 hours.
You know we could talk,
But
baby. We could...
right, but it's another thing that I wanted to ask before we got up out of here. But I know I brought it up. It was the show that they said. I think it was something about therapy that y'all were doing. I need to know about that just a little bit. How did that even come about, and why we didn't see
Okay, so the therapy show got pulled by Keisha.
it? Of course.
It got pulled by Keisha. And the reason it got pulled by Keisha because around that same time, I believe she was going to start filming for something. I can't remember what, but she was looking for Frankie. So even if it didn't get pulled, they weren't gonna have Frankie. And that was the major part of this because how you gonna have family healing with therapy and the main person that caused us all of this trauma ain't here. So, and then when Keisha called, they run. So she had to go. And then she realized where she was, and then she said, "Nope, not happening. Ain't finna do it. Don't care." So yeah, I don't know. That was the situation. And again, I wasn't around for that, but I found that out through Sam. He said, "Yeah,
Oh,
they pulled the plug on that. It wasn't finna happen."
you and Sam just be sitting around spilling all the tea. That would have looked
You
like
know,
the best.
that's my guy. I got to gossip with somebody. God damn
That's
it,
how it is
somebody
with
needs
me
to
and my
know.
baby brother. My baby brother is straight as shit, but he loved my big gay ass, so it don't even
Hey.
matter. You know what
And
I'm
that's
saying?
beautiful because a lot of times you don't see siblings, especially nowadays you do, but back then you do not see a lot of this. A lot of the straight siblings, especially the hood boogers, baby, they don't want nothing to do with us. And so
Yeah,
I think, yeah,
my brother was 12 when I came out to him.
okay,
So I'll make it quick. But it was
no,
kind of like one of those things. I had just came out. So my mama was like, well, I had been out for maybe about 2 or 3 years at this point. Like I was
okay,
out.
okay.
People knew I was gay though. Like,
But you still gotta say it, like just
they
because it's in the
knew.
air don't mean I'm.
Yeah, but my mama was like, "Well, when are you gonna tell your brother?" I said, "Why would I do that?" And she was like, "Well, I don't think you should hide it from him, though. I mean, I think
Yeah.
he's old enough to understand it." And I think when I came out, I think my brother was either 9 or 10 when I came out to my mom. So I'm
Okay.
like, I really don't feel like going through all this. Like, I already had to deal with y'all. I don't really want to go through all this. She was like, just tell him. So I told him. I came in the room and I told him about it. And he was like, okay. But I was like, okay, that's all you got?
That's it.
And he was like, what else am I supposed to do? I'm like, so you're not going to throw nothing at me. You're not going to disown me. You're not going to
You
call
ain't
me
give a
a
damn.
word. You ain't gonna do none of that. And he just looked at me like, why would I do that? Like, you still my brother, so why would I do that? And I'm like, wow.
And for him to even be like that at a young age, though, it just shows how much he loved you. Because it didn't
Hmm.
matter who you were. You still my brother at the end of the day.
Yeah, so that always puts a smile on my face every time I tell that story. But
Yes, I love that.
so in closing, because we've been here a long
I
time,
know we can
you
talk,
know,
baby.
but like if I could, I would continue to have this conversation because it was a
Yes.
lot. I didn't realize, but time flies when you having fun and when you having like real
Conversation.
conversation. I might have to bring you back for something else, but as it goes with your story and how it's kind of shook up the internet and how it shook up your sister and all that other stuff.
I know.
How do you feel going forward with this? Like it's already, to me, it's already like, ain't no love lost with you in Elite. That's done. But how do you think that's gonna impact the rest of your relationships with your other sibling?
I
If
think
there
it's
is
a
a relationship.
Yes, and I think where I am in life is I've learned to focus on myself. And if you want to be a part of my life, blessings. If you don't, blessings. I still love you. There when you say there's no love lost with Elite, I think that there is still love there. I think that at this time right now, I'm just in a portion of my life where I don't need to have Elite around me. That's not a relationship that I need to focus on. Neither Neffy, neither Keisha, neither Robert, neither even Tifa right now. I do have to focus on making my own name and doing the things that I need to do to push forward, because outside of them there's so many other people that depend on me. Every day people depend on me to get up and use my voice. Every day I got my family depending on me, my best friend depending on me. I got my sister depending on me, Vania depending on me, JP depend. I have so many people that depend on me using my voice every day that I have the love that I need. I had to understand that, and now I'm okay with how things are. If they want to be in my life, baby, the door is always open. But once that door closes, I can't do nothing for you. And I'm on a path right now to where I have to focus on school. I got to focus on my growth. I got to focus on my healing. I got to focus on being the best person and the human that I can be. And if they don't want to be a part of my life, it's okay. I love you from a distance and I congratulate your wins from a distance and I hope that you're successful. But baby, Elijah is on his own.
Okay, well, I want to close out by saying this. First of all, how old are you again?
I'm 30. I'm turning 31 February 1st, baby.
Okay, so I'm just like 6, 7 years older than you. So let
Yeah,
me just
oh
say
my,
this.
you ain't that old, Joe. What you talking
I ain't
about?
that old then.
You
So
ain't
let me
throw me
just
under the bus.
so let me just say this then. Okay, let me just give you just a little bit of some some older brother advice. How about that?
Yes,
You know,
please.
like I said, I've been in your position and I'm in your position today as we speak. And I just want you to know that being a person that's a truth teller, being a person that has his own mind, being a person that is independent and marks his own steps, I think that that's a great thing. And I don't feel like you should ever allow anybody to shut you down. Like, your voice is very important, and there's a lot of people that understand you. I know that sometimes you probably, I don't know if you ever felt like that, but I know I have. Sometimes you probably feel like no one understands me, nobody understands me. I feel like I'm just not I'm so misunderstood. No matter what I do, I'm always misunderstood. You feel what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's okay to be misunderstood. Everybody's not meant to understand you. And just like you go through me and you have the same story, my mother has the same story. She's the black
Mhm.
sheep of her family. My mother don't talk to nobody in her family but her kids, one aunt, and one cousin. That don't even include
Hello.
her mom and daddy because she don't fuck with them either. Neither
Oh
one of them
wow.
raised her. So there's a lot of people that understand. Of course, when I told her that I was doing this interview, me and her talked. She followed your story too. She understood exactly
What?
where you was coming from. So I'm saying all of that to say you got a whole lot going for you. You have a whole lot that you're doing. And this right here, your mouth, your voice, even though it might be the same thing that got your siblings mad at you, it might be the same thing that might get everybody mad with you. But at the same point in time, though, that same mouth is the reason why you are where you are today. And I want you to continue, as I always tell people, continue to do your thug thizzle. Don't stop doing your thug thizzle and just keep on being you, because there's only one
Yes.
you. And there's a lot of people that will relate to you. And your story is very important. So I had to take this advice and I want to bring that advice down to you. No matter what you go through, long as you find that silver lining, you got it. Just like you found that silver lining and I found that silver lining, people that's looking at us right now, that's probably watching this interview and probably have been in our shoes or probably in our shoes right now, we both of us together could probably give them that inspiration to continue to move
Yes.
forward. Because when you go through things with your family and you're the only one that's in that position, it might be hard and it may seem like we'll never get past that. But once you realize that you got to think about yourself and think about your own mental health and think about how you need to move forward for yourself, we've all followed your story. And
Oh,
you know there were times where you felt like you had to run away from your problems at times. We understand that sometimes we do have to run away. It may not be the right thing to do, but sometimes we might have to make stupid choices to learn from those stupid choices. I made stupid choices and learned from them all. I would never make those same choices again.
yes.
So you're in that position where you can, while you're doing your political stuff, there's a story in that. This adoption story is a story in that. Family trauma is also a story. You don't understand. There's a lot of things that you have dealt with that I have dealt with too. A lot of our stories are similar.
Yes.
So I just want to let you know that if don't nobody else tell you, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you do and everything that you have done, and I want you to continue to do that.
Yes, I love that. And I'm going to take that. Listen, I listen to people, especially people that are kind, generous, and honest. Okay. And from one black man to another, I'm going to listen to you because your
LGBT.
words, I see you. And I want to tell you a little bit about how I even found you. Okay. So originally, I seen you on YouTube. I typed my name in on YouTube and you were the first person to come up. Little did
Mhm.
I know your sister, I've been talking to her and she was like, you need to talk to my brother, yada, yada, yada. I need
Mhm.
you to connect with him because I love her. I'll talk to her and she go hard for me. And I didn't know that was your sister.
That's not my sister.
Oh,
I know what she's saying though. That's you talked about Catherine.
yeah, that's your sister.
She's one of my moderators on this platform, and
No.
she goes, she's been a long time supporter of mine, so she calls me her brother. So that's not my blood
Yes.
sister, but she calls me her brother. So that's where the connection comes
Okay,
from.
and so I did, but it was so crazy because you were the first person. I wanted to give opportunities to people that I seen that not only like covered it in a way that wasn't just biased or like picking a side. Like when you covered it, you spoke from your own words. You spoke from how you felt. And I think that a lot of times when people do have moments like this, they don't get share those moments with the people that actually do things like this. Like I am thankful that you even talked about this story coming from a gay black man and understanding that you've lived certain experiences that I'm going through or I've went through. I appreciated your viewpoint and I was like, I wanted to be able to sit down and talk to you because you poured into me, you poured into my story, you covered it. Like I even watched you on live talking about it. And it's important to give back and to do things like this with people that not only look like me, sound like me, but have lived certain things like me. And like this, I don't know how. I know you probably think it's like just a little moment. This is a big moment for me, and I appreciate you sharing it because baby, you cover so many things on YouTube. I watched them. You are very successful. You are very charismatic. You are very energetic. And baby, when you say you won awards, I was like, yes, I see you talking about you being up for different awards, even doing panels. That is a big thing. And for me, I appreciate you. And it's something that I'm never gonna forget. Okay. And it's not the last time we gonna be working together neither.
It
Okay.
won't be. It
It
won't
won't
be.
be.
It won't be. You won't be. I appreciate you, y'all. I appreciate you, Elijah. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. We had over 600 people up in here tonight, and I'm over here in Atlanta. He out there in California. It's later for me because it's almost
Oh baby, it's
midnight
time
for
for you to
me.
sleep.
But with that being said, you guys, we are done for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview, and we will see you guys on the next one. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
y'all.
you.